What's up, guys? It's your boy King David, and I'm back at it with another video for you. In this video, I'm just gonna ramble like sometimes I do, which is a good thing, guys. In this video, I'm gonna talk about what I usually do, conserving your energy, and we're gonna go into the reasons why you should not drink as much, or pretty much don't drink at all, guys. And we'll talk a little bit about CBD, right, guys? So the first thing is, what I noticed to gain a little bit of traction. Move this a little bit closer. To gain a little bit of traction towards CBD, to gain a little bit of traction towards your like retention journey, I think I said it, you just got to stop the smoke, stop the drink, right? What helps with that is CBD. That's why this video is kind of about all three. CBD is known to prevent you from drinking. Like if it's a good quality CBD and you take CBD every night or something like that, guys, like how I do, it makes it like to where you don't want to drink. Now that's if like, it even helps with people who have like addictions to opioids and things. There's a lot of like scientific studies done on this, but I never really had a problem with drinking to begin with, right, guys? Like I never drank a whole lot of alcohol. Like occasionally I would have, drink more than other times in my life, but not really like to where I'm just like I can't stop drinking it, right, guys? But I noticed when you take CBD, guys, you're not going to drink really that much. Or at all, you know. And me, I still drink sometimes. Like I might have a drink if I feel like I should. Like if I'm feeling like, hey, I might as well, have a little bit to drink. Like, sure, why not, right? I'm not against drinking. I just don't like the effects so much, guys. Like, I don't like the hangovers. I don't like the feeling really too much. The feeling's okay, but it's not like super good. Like I like the feeling of weed more, but I don't like the fact that like when I smoke weed, I get sick sometimes. So that's why I don't smoke weed, guys. So basically, CBD is weed, like I've said before. It's just a hemp plant, so it doesn't get you high. Like for some reason, like when I smoke weed, I get high, and then I get sick. Not all the time, but I just get sick from smoking weed itself, right? I don't know why that happens, but it just does. Maybe I'm allergic to it now. Who knows? But it would make sense that I would probably like have the same effects with CBD, but since THC is psychoactive, there's a higher chance that you're going to get sick from it than CBD, which is non-psychoactive, right, guys? CBD actually helps with nausea, right? Whereas THC, you can become very nauseous if you take too much of it, like edibles or something, right, guys? You're gonna get sick. Like a lot of people end up, throwing up or something. I've thrown up a couple times when I've taken edibles in the past, guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with either, right? Like my mindset on those things are not really, it's not really like one's bad, one's good. I just think that if you're going to use THC, if you're going to use CBD, just make sure you're not overdoing it, because you can even get sick off of CBD if you're taking too much, right, guys? The whole idea is to do what feels right to you, to help you with whatever situation you're going through, or just you just want to wind down before bed or something. I'm switching over to just CBD. I remember I was talking about CBD and melatonin in one of my videos, and now I'm switching back to just CBD, because the melatonin, you're not supposed to take it for long periods of time, guys. Like, you want to have like a natural circadian rhythm, and you don't want to like keep taking CBD for a long period of time. I mean, not CBD, melatonin for a long period of time, guys, because it's like your body, I think I looked it up some time ago, your body stops producing as much melatonin, and then you have to take melatonin in order for you to fall asleep. And it actually can like mess up your circadian rhythm a little bit, guys. So just make sure, if you do take melatonin, or if you don't take melatonin and you just take CBD, just be careful with whatever you're doing. Do some research. I think it's always about doing the research and then understanding how your body feels too, because a lot of times our bodies don't tell us until like we kind of feel something, but we're not really like fully in it yet, right? We're not fully understanding what's happening yet, and then we're like, oh wait, I don't feel so good, right? So how does this pertain to retention, guys? Like, if you take away the drinking, you take away the smoking, you're just going to have a clearer mind, right? So that clearer mind allows you to retain for longer periods of time. When you're retaining or conserving, I should start saying conserving, guys. When you're conserving your life force energy, you're not being with women, you're not releasing, you're not, messing around, you're not edging, right? A lot of guys will edge, or they'll still watch the content. There was a page I came across on Instagram where like these girls, they were celibate. Some of them, I guess, were celibate for years, right? And then there was like one girl, she was like, I still watch the corn, right? I try not to say that word too much on my channel, but you get what I'm saying, guys. She still watches the video, the content, right? I like to say content. And there was another girl who didn't, I guess, watch content, and she was like, no, I've been 9 years celibate, but I don't watch content, right? The other girl was like, well, you're missing out, right? I've heard that there's like more content that's viewed, or that's geared towards women. So there's more women who are watching content instead of like what normally is promoted, where men mostly watch the content, right, guys? You'll start to notice that like with conserving your energy and getting away from the content, guys, you'll start to notice it like subtly decreases, right? And it'll start off like you're watching content, you're not really like paying attention to like how much you're watching. Then it gets down to like you pay attention to how much you're watching. Then it gets to like maybe you only want to watch certain types of content. Then it gets down to you don't really watch content, really. You know what I mean? But you still like being on Instagram, which is like not content, but some of the videos are close to it, right? It's close. It's like almost like a tease, right? And some of the videos, these girls are like basically teasing you. Then eventually you kind of get to a point where you don't really have any of those girls that you're following on Instagram. Occasionally it might pop up in your algorithm because you used to watch it, but you just breeze by it. Like, it's not really like in your mind, like you're not thinking about it. So eventually you're able to hop on Instagram, post your videos, or post your pictures if you want to, or talk to some of your friends on there, share reels or whatnot if you do that, guys. And just hop off the website, or hop off the app, and everything's good, right? No, here's another thing. Like from there, it goes even further. Like now, a lot of guys, they still edge. They still look at women in public, right? They're like, man, well, she's really good looking. No, that's going to take a long time. Like the lust and the edging, it's going to take longer. Like some guys, they don't watch content, but they still release, right? They're still at home releasing. That's going to take longer to break, They're using their imagination, which is a little better. But I feel personally, I feel when you use your imagination and you release, you're actually releasing more. You're releasing more out, right, guys? Not to be too TMI, guys, but yeah, you're releasing more fluids because you're using your imagination. Possibly you're thinking about somebody or thinking about like something that you've seen. Usually you're thinking about somebody like an ex or something, guys. You're going through your mind and you're like remembering stuff that possibly had happened or whatnot. You know, everybody's different. I don't know exactly, but then you end up releasing more because you're like creating like a scenario. Like a lot of women will do that. Women will, when they, you know, they don't really release, guys, but you get what I'm trying to say, guys. When they're trying to climax, they don't really watch content. Like I said, like there's content that's geared towards women now, but they would just use their imagination, right? And when you do that, you're using more of your brain power. So when you release, you're releasing a lot of like information. You're releasing a lot of information, not only in the fact that you're releasing DNA and vitamins and minerals and all sorts of that stuff, guys. Like I don't need to go too deep into it, but you are releasing a lot of brain power, a lot more brain power. I feel like that's what a lot of guys don't think. You're not as affected because you're not watching the content, but you do get more affected in like the mental, like your mental clarity, right? Like you lose a big proportion of that. You almost feel like you can't think very much because like you had to like conjure this like imaginative thing in your mind of like maybe a fantasy or whatnot, and then you end up releasing. That's a lot of brain power you just worked up, and then you just let it all go. So yeah, you get the picture here, guys. So anyways, what this has to do with, you know, stopping the two, and then it's going to make it easier. It's going to make the transition easier as it gets more subtle, you know, through conserving your energy. It gets more subtle over time. Sorry, there's always planes, guys. You'll start to notice that the lust is what I was going to get at. The lust is like kind of like the last step. To break free from the lust is going to take years usually, and that's very difficult. If you're at that level, like you're ready to transcend, like you're ready to like to really kind of just live life and look at like women just as like your mother or your sister or like your grandmother or something, right? That's when you're like at the next level. I mean, obviously, if they're wearing something that's a bit tight and they have a nice body, you're gonna look, but you're not as like likely to want to you know, mess around with them because it's like you've already passed most of those stages, and the lust is not strong enough to where you're gonna like end up sleeping with somebody that you probably shouldn't have, or end up sleeping with somebody and you're like, wait, this isn't what I wanted to do, right? So you gotta be really like in that level, right? So when you get to that level of like you're at the last stage, I feel like that's like stage 4, right, guys, of like conserving your energy or semen retention is what we talk about. That's the last stage. Like that's gonna take some time, guys. Like, and a lot of guys, they'll be out and they look for the validation from women. You know what I mean? They're looking for women, and women are looking at them because they have the energy now, and they have the body, they have the physique, they have, you know, the looks, maybe even they have the money behind them too, you know, good job, or maybe they're famous or something. Like, yeah, for sure. Maybe I'm not going to go into fame and rich and all that stuff, but I'm just saying like average Joe guy that's making pretty decent amount of money, but he's maybe not better than average Joe. I would say he's fit and he's making money, right? Good. You know, those things are good. You're going to get attraction, of course. You're going to be attracted to women. But what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is when you're in that stage 4, is that you can see an attractive woman, but you're not going to walk up to her. Like, you're not going to walk up to her. You're not going to ask for the number. You're not going to, like, engage in conversation. And that's why a lot of women, I feel that a lot of women are very, I don't generalize. I don't make assumptions or nothing like that, guys. And hopefully none of the women are, like, pointing at me and going, yeah, this is wrong. But let's get real here, guys. A lot of women, they want men to walk up to them and talk to them and, woo them or get their numbers or whatnot, guys. But since we live in 2026, guys, I'll put it this way. Since we live in this newer time, you got to realize that a lot of women are on these dating sites. Not all of them, but there's a lot of women who are on dating sites. There's a lot of women who are, talking to multiple men. There's a lot of women that have, like, a list full of men in their phone. You walk up to her. Now, she might be attracted to you in the moment, but really she's just attracted to you in the moment because, like, you're taking up her time in a way, right? She might, like, end up being with you, but she's not looking for something that maybe is long term, right? She's not really, like, a lot of girls used to be looking for something like that. Like, is this guy a potential partner? Is he not? She's willing to do some of these things. Some of them are not so willing, but for me, I've noticed, like, if I walk up to a girl and I ask for her number, like a cold approach is what they call it, right, guys? It's pretty easy for me because you gotta understand, society does base, like, a lot of, like, your success rate off of looks, right, guys? If you look handsome, you got a decent looking body, and you're not talking funny or something, like, you're not just saying, like, some random stuff, girl is gonna probably give her number to you. Like, that's just what it is. You got the look, you got the, you come with the confidence, for sure. But you got to realize, cold approach, like, your success rate is very low, even if you are, like, up there, right? It's a very low, they say, a numbers game, which is a horrible thing to put in these guys' heads. Like, no, it's bad. Here's the thing, guys, and I know this video is getting all over the place, but if you really think about it, men, we're the prize, right? We're the prize. We're supposed to be the ones who are being chased after, instead of women being the ones who are chased after. Like, if you look at all, like, the famous men and stuff, and I know I didn't want to get into fame and stuff, but if you look at these men, they focused on their craft. They focused on what they were doing. Maybe they're a football player or something. They focused on what they had going on in their life. And then the women were attracted to them, not only because they had, like, handsome or whatnot, but just because they have talent in what they're doing. And then they had selection. And then the man would obviously pick whatever one he would think is the more beautiful, is usually what we would go after, because we're more physical. We're more about, like, the physical aspect of a woman than the emotional side. Like, the emotional and getting to know her and stuff is important too, but a lot of times we want to look at what she looks like first before we get into all that, right? That's just what it is. Like, it's been like that forever. We can't change it. It's biologically like that. That's just what it is, guys. Same with, like, women. They look for more of, like, the provider. They look for somebody who will protect them, what you're saying and who you are before your physical body, right? But if you have a great looking physical body and a great looking face, you bypass a lot of the other stuff. Like, it kind of evens out in a way. Like, God made it pretty good. He knows what he's doing. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that trying to get back on topic. Like me, I like to ramble. I like to keep it raw and uncut, guys. You gotta realize that you're the prize, guys. Like, it's all about working on yourself. Sorry. And being patient. A lot of guys aren't patient. They see a good looking woman, they want to go, they want to approach her, they want to spit their game. They call it game. I don't believe in game. And then, they get the number and stuff. Like, this way of doing it, it works and you'll get a woman. But here's the thing, guys. It's not just about getting a woman. Like, it gets to a point where it's not just about getting a woman. It's, especially if you're on the journey. It's like, if you're a guy who's not on the journey, like, that's the go-to for a lot of guys. They just go out, they go get the woman, and that's that, right? If you're on this journey, you're different, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, guys. Like, you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, and which is sitting back, being patient, waiting for the one to come into your life, and then you guys actually really connect on a deeper level. Like, you're looking for the all three connections. You're not looking for somebody who you can spend like a couple years with and you end up breaking up with. You're looking for somebody that maybe can be with you till the end, whether or not if you guys have kids or get married or not, but like somebody who you can really just trust and depend on, right, guys? That's what you're looking for. That's the reason why a lot of men end up retaining or conserving their life force energy. It's like, you need to have somebody who's like on that same page, right? Which means, well, she'll probably be celibate for some time, guys. She's not going to be messing around with a bunch of dudes. She's not going to be even entertaining that kind of nonsense, right? It's not nonsense, but when you get more of like a higher consciousness, like, you start to realize it is kind of nonsense in some sort of way. Like, it is like, you kind of got to look at it. I don't judge, because I did the same thing, but I always kept my relationships and the women that I was talking to very secretive to my family, because I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, well, you're with this person, you're with that person, why are you with this person? Or, oh, you're like this. Family will always have something to say. Friends will always have something to say. You know what I mean? Like, I told my friends more than my family. Like, one of my friends for years, he was like, bro, how do you get the girls so easy? Like, you just get girls all the time. And I'm like, man, like, you just gotta play it cool. Just make them your friends. That's really it. You just be friends with them, and just, they'll show if they like you or not, That's kind of like the secret, right, guys? Be friends. Don't release a lot, of course, because that just lowers your vibration. It lowers your energy. You got to have the same energy. Every time you see her, it's got to be the same energy. My channel's not really about dating, but I'm just going to say this. It's like, if you have the same energy every time you meet her, or pretty close to, because we're not perfect, guys. Like, she's not perfect. She's not going to have the same energy either. But if you have pretty close to the same energy throughout, like, the times you meet her, and you show up and you say funny things here and there, you're cool with her, you treat her as like your friend, you hang out with her, eventually she's going to like either find you attractive, or she's going to just be your friend, like, and that's good enough. You're okay with either one. If she finds you attractive, she'll let you know. Like, she'll just like text you out of the blue or something, or she'll like call you and be like, hey, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you guys are hanging out. It's that simple, guys. Some girls are very evident with it, like, from the get-go, and it's that's just what it is, guys. I'm not bragging or nothing, guys. I'm just being honest. Like, this is the truth, guys. You gotta sit back and be patient. A lot of guys are not patient. They're too obvious. They're too obvious with their intentions. And when you get older, and especially if you're like releasing a lot, like, your intentions are very straightforward. Like, you're like, I like you, I want you in my life, yada yada yada. And that's that turns women off big time. Like, it doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It can if she's into you and you're into her, then it's like you guys just, But anyways, like, there's so much more to that. Like, that's just on a whole nother chapter of the things that I don't really get into in this channel. So occasionally I might bring it up just to like give you guys some insight on what you should be doing in order to become a better man. Like, it's just about like improving what you should be doing, guys. Retention is really what it's about. It's like, if you don't have the energy, she's gonna just lose interest in you, and she's not gonna like think you're attractive. She'd be like, oh, this guy's like, he's cool, but every time I see him, he's kind of like, his eyes are kind of low and like they're crusty, and like he doesn't have the energy behind him. Like, he's not moving the way he was like a week or two ago because he released too much. And what that means, like, technically this is what it means, guys. What that means is like, when she first saw you, she might have been attracted to you, or maybe she was interested. But if you release a lot, the next time she sees you, like, most girls know, like, if you're like with another girl. But say if she's not that aware, she might think you're like with somebody, right? Especially if you're like good looking, right, to her. She might think you're like, you have somebody, but most likely you're not. Like, if you have somebody, most likely you're not like releasing a whole lot. Unless you guys just got together, right, guys? So if you guys have known each other for some time, not like you and the girl that thinks you're interesting, but I'm just making this up, right? Say if you're like a guy who has a girlfriend, and then this girl is like thinking you're attractive, right? She's gonna kind of know, like, your energy's high, low, right? Because you're releasing every so now and then, right? And the way you talk, right? A lot of guys have a different way of how they talk, and they bring up their girlfriend a lot of times in their conversation, unless they're like trying to be a player or something. Now, if she sees you, she's gonna know that like energy change. She's gonna feel the energy change. Girls are very intuitive. Now, if she sees you and you're just releasing, you don't have a girlfriend, right? Whether if you know she's attracted to you or not, right? It doesn't matter. Like, she's gonna like eventually lose attraction. There's gonna be another guy who has a higher energy level than you. And I'm not saying like higher energy level as in like some like Dragon Ball Z kind of stuff right here, guys. I'm talking about just the interaction that she's gonna have. Like, the universe kind of like does this, guys. Let's put it in the simple terms, right? If she was attracted to you, you kind of thought she was good looking. All right, cool. But then you're releasing. And this other guy, he's not releasing. He's never even seen her. She's never seen him. You've been releasing. She's losing attraction towards you because you're releasing. This other guy, random guy she's never met, gonna come into her life in a kind of a way, not like hooking up or nothing, but he's just gonna walk in one day. He's gonna have like the energy right, and the universe is gonna like just match them, right? Like, you had the potential to be matched with her if you had stuck with not releasing, but now this random so whoever gets matched, because it's like the universe kind of like does that for some reason. It's like, I don't want to call it survival of the fittest, but it is kind of similar to that in a way, I guess. That's like the worst way to put it, but it's like it is like that. Like, if your energy level is high, like you have like a lot of like energy, she has the same energy, your energies match, and you stay consistent, or you get higher energy. If you get higher, though, here's the thing. This is the tricky situation, right? It's gotta match. Like, if you guys match, then your energies kind of balance each other's, right? Now, if you're retaining or conserving your life force energy, your energy, like at some point you'll match energies. And if you're like really into her, she's really into you, you guys will match, right? But if you keep retaining and she's not like on that, like kind of like I'm holding myself out for somebody, you're going to go higher in energy. And the higher you go in energy, you're going to match with like other women in your life, right, guys? So, it's a good thing. Like if you're retaining, that's what God ordained for you. You're supposed to be retaining for a certain amount of time. It's basically showing you the caliber of women that will be in your life, guys. Like the longer you retain, the higher the caliber, the better you take care of yourself, the higher the caliber. And eventually there's going to be like, there's no real plateau to retention, because or conserving your life force energy, because there's always more spiritual benefits. But at least from the physical standpoint, there's a plateau. So once you reach that plateau, the caliber of women that you're going to attract are going to be on that same level. You know, they've been celibate for however long. You've been basically celibate, you know, for however long. And then you guys meet each other and you guys take your time, and then eventually you guys hook up or whatever, and the energy balances out from there, you know. Then maybe she doesn't really know so much about the spiritual side as you know. You guys teach each other more spiritual sides. The goal here, guys, is to match on a spiritual level, an emotional level, and a physical level. The three, right? You gotta have three to have long-term relationships. Otherwise, it's like if you meet on like one or two of the levels, it's not enough to like keep the relationship solid for long enough. Sorry, there's always planes and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you gotta have all three, guys, like if you want. And that's the reason why you're doing retention, is because think about your past relationships, thinking about maybe like the people that you were with before. Like you met on maybe one or two of the levels, but you weren't on all three. Otherwise, you guys would still be together. Most likely. You know what I mean? She's going to understand you to a deeper knowledge, unless you're like doing like some just weird stuff or whatever. But, you know, she's going to understand you like you understand her. The connection's strong. Like you guys have like minds in a way, guys. Anyways, this video is kind of long, and I know I touched on a lot of different topics. CBD, touched on retaining a life force energy. I touched on stopping drinking, right, guys? Just realize it's all a process. It's all going to take time. Don't rush into things. Don't think that you can just instantly get to this higher level. A lot of people that don't know it yet, it's like the consciousness that you're at now is where you're supposed to be at. So if you want to be like free from drinking, or free from like, you know, releasing all the time, or free from forgot the other one, or taking CBD or whatever. Taking CBD is not really like that doesn't really like relate to what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to be free from the two, it's gonna take you years. Some people it takes years, you know. And understanding that the releasing, or maybe having a drink every now and then, it's gonna happen. Accept it. Accept it. I think a lot of us, we don't accept these things because maybe somebody else like judges us, or somebody else looks at us and goes, hey, well, you need to stop this. It's like, what if you couldn't, you know? What if you couldn't at the moment, but you would in the future? You know? So they don't think of it that way. They think of it like, oh, well, you just can't stop, and you're this, you're that. I'm gonna point my finger at you. It's like, no, don't do that. That's not the way we should look at people's habits or whatnot. However we want to put it, right, guys? realize they have something to deal with, and they put themselves in that position, and it's okay, you know, like it isn't, but it is, right? It's like they can't change it. If they could, they probably would have changed it. But even if they're like getting right with God, they can't really like make too much of a difference. It probably has to carry on to the next life, you know. Some things it's just like that. Like we can't make the decision because it's not our decision to make. It's God's decision if He wants us to be free from it or not, right? That's why I used to I didn't really care that my dad smoked, right? My dad died actually of lung cancer, and I didn't really care that he smoked. Like I didn't like the smell so much, but I was like, hey, you know, like he smokes. I don't like this that he smokes technically, but I'm like, I don't really care, you know. It's like, it's not, you know, as long as he's not doing nothing like crazy or nothing. It's like a lot of people smoke, you know. If he had more control over it, that would have been better, you know. Some people don't have control, right? And that's where you're like, you kind of look at them and you're like, oh man, why don't you have a little more like control over what your habit is? But you know, they have to battle. That's like their dean. That's like what they have to go through. That's their. No, I wouldn't say. I don't like to say that word, but I'm just saying that's like their karmic debt. Maybe even like they have to deal with certain things, and if they don't, then they die or something from it. Maybe that's what the. It may be because that they have to deal with it with God when they go up to heaven or wherever, you know, in the astral realm. They have to deal with, you know, that universal force, and then they get sent back to earth and have to redo it again, and they've been doing it for lifetimes, battling these urges and stuff, but you know, if you're free from whatever that is, God's blessed you, right? God's given you the grace. It all works with the universe. This is what I've realized. I know this video is long, guys. It all works with the universe. Like if you want to be broken free from something, like it's going to take a lot of energy sometimes for you to break free from that very thing. Some people are so close from breaking free from it, but they just can't. They realize they can't because it's not their time to do it. They get so far, but they can't do it because the universe is not going to allow them to do it. It has to benefit the whole, right? It has to benefit everybody on this planet for one person to be broken free from it, right? Now, it depends on how deep you are, how deep the seed is, like the causal seed, if you want to look at it that way, because that's really what it is, right? If the causal seed is deep and it needs to be burned, it needs to be destroyed, you got to work with God, and God's the only one who's really going to like be able to like really work on it and like shrink it to the point where it vanishes, right? And then you don't really have those urges anymore. But most of the time it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of like resistance. It's a lot of resistance. That's why, like, if you want to be free from lust or free from releasing and really find the person who's meant for you, or understand that you're not meant to really be with anybody or have any kids, like some of these things you have to come to acceptance, right? You have to come to acceptance of what it is, and then say you are meant to be with somebody, right? You have to heal yourself first, right? You have to heal who you are and heal all the pains and traumas and things that you have going on behind the closed door, doing all the shadow work, working on yourself from the internal, understanding that you're human and sometimes you might end up doing the very thing that you want to break free from. You know what I mean? Trying to control it. A lot of people give up. A lot of people give up on resisting it. I mean, give up on the goal because the resistance is so strong. You know, You have so many people who are like really kind of just not, they're not helping. There's a lot of people who aren't helping in the process, because it's too easy to be swayed in the wrong direction, because it's like the energy that comes off your body is like telling them that you're fighting it, and then they just kind of like suck you back into the darkness of whatever you broke. Well, once you've broken free from it, it's pretty easy to stay away. But I'm just saying, like, being in that transition part, that like you're battling back and forth, is the hardest part. That's why a lot of people can't go 90 days or 60 days or 100 days without releasing. Especially for men, I think it's harder for men because we have a lot of testosterone, and we have to battle like wanting to go out and talk to a woman, and you have to really just be patient. The patience is the healing process, right? Be patient and understanding that like you're really got to be put on your soul contract, your mission while you're here first. There's some things you have to do first before you can maybe be with somebody, you know. And when I say maybe, it's really just a maybe. Like a lot of guys that say, I'm not gonna be with nobody, I might as well just go back to releasing. Why would you do that? Why would you go back to just being this depleted person? It's gonna be worse for you in that realm. It's better to be free and healed from the debaucherous acts and live life, even though you won't have a kid or you won't be married or whatnot. Maybe that's what's going to happen next lifetime. You know what I mean? Some people they don't want to accept that, you know. It's like their consciousness is not there yet, you know. There's probably better gifts for you awaiting if you just break free from the very thing. If you make it through that resistance stage, right? So don't give up. Don't give up in that. You have to be vigilant. Like you can't give up because of something. Because that's like you're wanting something that like technically God is giving you, right? Like God still might give it to you, but you know, maybe you weren't meant to have it this lifetime because you just, for whatever reason, like there's still a lot of stuff. Like I think of it this way, right? This video is going to be like a 50-minute video. I think of it this way, and it makes a lot of sense. Say in the life, when you're born, you already have this soul contract, right? You've already signed like what you're going to be doing in this world, right? But at some point, you're going to have a battle with yourself, and you're going to be like, I want to have kids, I want to have a child, I want to have a wife or whatnot in my life. But then there's something that makes you realize, like, I got to do my mission in life, and I can't finish my mission if I have kids and a child. I mean, a child and a wife, right? Like, my mission needs to be completed first. So I have to go solo for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean you won't have like relationships and stuff, but it just means that like you gotta go solo. You chose the like most difficulty setting on your video game setting, right? On your life setting, your character setting, like our 3D body, right? This flesh and bones that we're like moving through this earthly realm. You decided to go the most hardest route. For most men, they would consider that the hardest route, instead of staying home, you know, raising kids and stuff, which is hard too. But I'm just saying, like, you chose to walk this path mostly alone. You know, so you just got to accept it at some point, and then you're like, man, like, all right, well, this is what it is. And I feel like when you know these things, it becomes easier, because when you're about to pass, you're like, dang, like, I'm about to pass away or whatnot, right? You just kind of like come to acceptance because you're like, I did my mission. I came here. I was sent here to do what I was supposed to do, you know? And you can kind of feel it too. Like you get to a point, like you'll feel it, like if you're going to have kids or have a wife or stuff and stuff like that, guys, you're going to feel that eventually. And if you're not, like, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, in the grand scheme of things, like, if you know you're going to be coming back to this earth for maybe another mission, or you're going somewhere else, it's like, you know, it's not that big of a deal in the end, you know. Come to acceptance with whatever it is, guys. Just understand that much. I know this video is long, guys. I've said it 3 times now, so I'm gonna leave it with that, and peace out. Have a blessed day. You know, like, comment, subscribe, guys, and you know, leave something like a comment just on what exactly you experienced in this video, if there's anything that I should touch on in the next video, or if what I'm saying isn't very like resonant with you guys. So, you know, keep in mind, just try to like give me some insight on what you would want in the next video. Peace out, guys.